So, Avi, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. There's still a pandemic and cultural revolution
Really,
raging and
I didn't realize.
existing. That's how I'm gonna answer.
Cool. I don't know what that means. So, Avi, you're kind of a film TV person, aren't you?
Yes, I love watching them and I love making them.
And would you consider yourself like a film buff per se? Like, somebody that talks a lot about Pulp Fiction.
I would not. I would consider myself like if there's like the film buff, I'm like the film occasionally went to the gym. You know?
Okay, yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Enthusiast.
yeah, there we go. Like I get it, but I will not be able to tell you
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino's birthday.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hope that you'd get it because, you're a writer and, and everything. One would hope. I understand that you don't watch anime, correct?
Yeah, no, I don't watch anime. I was like, do I watch? And I've read some manga, but I've never watched
That's
anime.
something. What manga have you read?
I used to read the illegal downloads of Naruto and Bleach.
Oh, okay.
And then there was this one whose name I'm forgetting that my friend introduced me, and it was about like strawberry panties, and it was so good.
Are American films that original, or are we just unaware of what they're referencing? I love anime a lot. So, warning, 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 bias ahead. If you haven't watched any of the YouTube videos connecting anime and American films together, which is totally understandable because I watch more YouTube than is healthy, there are a few primary examples. Avi, did you know that The Matrix was based off of an anime?
I did not.
So The Matrix borrowed a lot of ideas from Ghost in the Shell, as cited by the Wachowskis. This isn't just, speculation. This is cited by them. The bathroom scene from Requiem for a Dream is actually straight from Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue, which Darren Aronofsky bought the rights to in order to recreate that scene.
I did not know that. That is what?
Right?
So is Darren Aronofsky a weeb?
I think he is.
Huh.
Because,
Good for him.
So yeah, Darren Aronofsky bought the rights to Perfect Blue, and there are so many parallels between that film as well as Black Swan, and that's really all I will say for this video specifically. I really want to give more examples, but I'd rather you search, since so many creators have actually explained these connections before, like Kimba and Simba. Did you know this? There was a Japanese... Yes, you do know this. Avi, do you have any opinions about whether or not Simba was stolen from Kimba? Since you do know about this?
I used to be in the camp that all art is stolen and copied, right? Like, ultimately, The Lion King is Hamlet, but...
yeah, of course it is. Yeah. And the Timba and Simone story was Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Yeah, exactly. But then, I think actually the Kimba thing is what turned me away. I was like, those names are the same. Like, if you're gonna steal, you gotta be a little bit smarter about your theft.
Yeah, just something that sounds maybe a little bit less ethnic. I don't know.
Yeah, Simbo
Bob
probably would have. Sorry, I'm just thinking of him holding up Eugene. All of that is beyond. All of that the sun touches is yours.
I mean, it's not as bad as the Fine Brothers thinking that they have ownership over reaction videos, now is it? All that being said, y'all should watch Perfect Blue. It's really good. I don't know if you've watched it, Avi. It's a great film. It's one of my favorite films out there. It has like I think you would like it because it's very cerebral, and it has like this Hitchcockian sense to it. So you can easily look up how anime influenced American cinema further on your own time. And I think all of it will show how Japanese anime has played a significant, if not huge, part in Hollywood, and will probably continue to do so. Get it? Playing a part. Hollywood. Auditions. Sorry.
Oh, so I got it.
Great, thanks. And it's something I really want all American moviegoers to know about. Not that we can't go to the movies right now, but you know what I mean. It's really something that I want all American moviegoers to know about, which I'm assuming is most people. Like, I don't watch a lot of movies, but I like movies. Have you ever met people who are just like, movies are like, just suck as a whole? Are there people like that? I don't think there are.
That's my dad.
Oh. Really? There are still so many American consumers who still consider anime highly inaccessible. They see it as being not deep, as original or as important as American movies like Inception or Pulp Fiction or Interstellar. By the way, Inception is inspired by the movie Paprika, allegedly by the same director of Perfect Blue. People could think anime is only for antisocial, awkward, pervy, mega nerds who still live with their parents. And yes, I am all those things, but I don't live with my parents at least. I am pervy and I am antisocial and I am a shut-in. But I don't live with my parents. Except that now that's not true because I'm staying with them for the pandemic.
So something I really loved about watching Studio Ghibli films is that they were animations that weren't ridiculous or funny. And I feel like American animation is never taken seriously. Right? Like, it has to be goofy.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that I actually didn't write in my script, but I was actually hoping on hitting in a separate video. So I love that you mentioned that because you're right. I think there's definitely a sense that that in America, cartoons will always be considered, this is something for children. This could never be anything deep.
Or something for humor, right? Because there are amazing animations that are for adults, like The Simpsons, which is like the most iconic show of Americans of the like American vernacular, but it's a comedy show. Right. BoJack Horseman is a comedy show.
Honestly, when you were saying comedy, like I even like took it all the way back to like just when first American animation was a thing with slapstick, you know, with like that super out there slapstick type of comedy, like Steamboat Willie, right? Yeah. Super like vaudevillian influences, right?
Right.
Yeah. But I really hope to break down this perceived barrier between nerd weeb media and mainstream media. Because I think it's all fake, especially with how well the new Star Wars movies are doing. And, well, I wrote this before the ending happened, but it's still fine. Hi, this is Future Chris, who's editing this video right now. And I just wanted to mention also that there are current American cartoons like Star vs. the Forces of Evil and Steven Universe that are very heavily based off of anime, quite clearly, or stated by their creators. How big comic superhero movies are, despite DC continuously fucking it up, and how popular Comic-Con and Anime Expo are, also RIP because it's a pandemic right now. I mean, those cons are also very smelly, but, you know, details, it's fine. I would say anime is exactly like American media, where a lot of it is meant to appeal to the lowest common denominator with boobs and explosions, even though a lot of people think that anime is all about boobs and explosions and don't think that way about American films, to capitalize on what's already popular and to make money without having to think about substance at all. Not that I'm naming names. Asterisk Wars, Handshakers, and Attack on Titan. Just kidding, on Attack on Titan, please don't hurt me. But when brilliant anime comes out like Evangelion, Angel's Egg, and Madoka Magica, it's really something else. To be honest, I usually stop paying attention to American media for a bit when I do find these pieces of work, but that's why movie directors get inspired by them too, right? In fact, if you look at anime from the early 80s and 90s, you might even see that anime has always been ahead of the game in terms of quality as well as ideas. You know?
Yes. I also agree because 80s cinema kind of sucked. Like, outside of Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Although there was one year where it was like 1984 where it was just amazing movies across the board. They were all action. So they're like these cult favorites that kind of blew up. But all the animation of the 80s in America sucked.
Like I said before, watch Perfect Blue and see what I mean. Hell, look at how the original Sailor Moon looks in comparison to, say, the Magic School Bus or Batman the Animated Series. Shows that were made the same year or after. Again, I like those shows a lot, but also they could not hold a candle to Japanese animation. Again, fan of all those shows, please don't come for me. You could also try comparing how horrible the Sailor Moon USA adaptation animation looks like if you want to. If you don't know about it, it's because it never got aired, and God bless.
Oh, I did not know that.
I think one of the problems is that reviewers, YouTubers in film, writers, any people in this field don't mention film inspirations unless they are immediately accessible to the audience. Seriously, I checked out Black Swan reviews from Jeremy Jans, a very famous film YouTuber, the LA Times, Time Magazine, Washington Post, The Guardian, The Hollywood Reporter, and Slate, and did not see one single mention of Perfect Blue. Now, I don't expect everyone to have mentioned Perfect Blue, but I would think someone ought to have at least heard of it, since it should be documented that Aronofsky bought the rights to the film. The fact that conversations linking Christopher Nolan's Inception to Satoshi Kon's Paprika must have been making the rounds since Inception came out in the same year before Black Swan, in my opinion. I guess maybe people might not have caught wind, but it's the internet, guys, come on. Like, the internet has everything. Do you feel like the argument can be made, but it's a review, not an analysis of the film? It's not like a deep dive into the history.
Because I feel like the whole point of a review is you comment on a piece of art as it exists, and while nothing is truly contextless, the review is supposed to treat the art on its own. But like, I feel like every review of No Strings Attached probably commented on how Friends with Benefits came out 2 months before that. So, like, they're still going to be aware of the context that these things are coming out in. So by choosing not to be aware of the anime, they're not doing their job.
I didn't say it. Are these references not documented well because directors see anime as obscure and so they don't think it's just worth mentioning in interviews? Do reviewers not think about anime references because they think it isn't real art? Are they too eager to hold these works as original? Whatever the reason, directors don't mention it often, causing reviewers to never learn about it. Why can't more people be like the Wachowskis? From writing this line, you should know that I'm not trying to say all directors in America suck, okay? I'm not saying American directors aren't creative. Jesus, the covering of your ass YouTube people have to do nowadays. Also, I think this is at least related to the way anime films are treated by the Oscars. Your Name being the prime examples. For those of you who don't know or don't remember, Your Name is a highly successful anime film that has found Studio Ghibli level popularity in Japan and America. Yet, it was never nominated for an Oscar for some reason. Isn't that funny? YouTube channel Mother's Basement massively breaks this down. To quickly summarize, because you should watch his video, it's not a surprise that Oscar voters are made up of old white dudes who might not even bother watching all the good movies of the year, whether they be anime or not. If it is a surprise to you, welcome to the real world. Please know that we have a 2-drink minimum and there's no free parking. Now I know the first thing you will think is, but Chris, Studio Ghibli movies win Oscars? Just because Studio Ghibli is well known by the Oscars doesn't really weaken my case, because it's not difficult to know Ghibli. I know Ghibli because my parents bought me the original dubbed VHS versions of Totoro before they were redubbed by Disney, I think, or whoever redubbed them, because they were originally distributed and dubbed by Fox, I think.
Yeah, and now they're like distributed by HBO Max.
Right. Thanks, Mom, for letting me be cultured and shit. Do you like HBO Max? Have you tried it yet?
I refuse to. I like to pretend that there's a dog named Max that they're trying to get pee.
Go now, Max! Go now! This stupid system of what the Oscars deeming what's worthy of our notice really feeds back into itself. It's so overly insular, but it's respected because of the legacy. Yet it's run by people who might not even have watched all of the nominated films. Like, really, Oscars? Ferdinand and Boss Baby deserve a chance to win an Oscar, but not Your Name? Really? Really? Boss Baby? But I suppose we can't help but to take these award shows seriously because they're accessible. And most of us don't have time to watch every movie, kind of like them, even though it's their job. And when a film like Moonlight wins, we still get happy for good reason, even though they did flub that too, right? Or when Leonardo DiCaprio finally wins. So, yeah. Unlike Daenerys, we need not try to break the wheel. How many nerd points was that? I hope that this, along with Guillermo del Toro recently posting his manga and anime paraphernalia, prompts you to look for recommendations of dope films to watch outside of the Oscars, outside of typical American films. What?
Yeah!
Yes.
I was just cheering you on.
Thank you. I need it. I hope we can be more wary of the Oscars and ask critics to mention these important sources of inspiration. Because as critics, I feel like they should know this and teach us this. This isn't to take away from the brilliance of American directors, again, trying to cover my ass, but credit is due where credit is due. It would be awesome for more people to respect anime as a medium that can have depth and not just a nerd thing. Thank you. I want anime to be known for inspiring films that would otherwise be considered completely original products of this auteur, this genius. Again, doesn't mean those movies are bad, okay? All great stories are just remakes of stories. Avi keeps telling me this, and I see this too. I want anime to be respected as a format that rivals what Pixar puts out. I promise you, there are so many anime movies that you haven't watched yet that will offer you the most transformative experiences you never thought you could have. Otherwise, past just Ghibli films. Animes you will watch and become like me, and constantly tell people to watch them and that their lives are not complete without them. And don't even get me started on anime video games. Just think of all the other Black Swan and In Session level movies we could have if more filmmakers drew inspiration from anime like Aronofsky. Right?
Yeah, we need more weeb directors. Are you gonna give me like a list of 5 films I need to watch? Because I really am not at your level with the amount of anime I've watched.
Yeah, sure. Perfect Blue, Your Name, obviously. I haven't watched it yet. I want to. I also think Angel's Egg, Adolescence of Utena, and Summer Wars.
I learned a lot about anime and feature films. Did not like a ton of stuff I didn't know, so thank you for educating me. And 2, I'm still waiting for my dildo.
Oh. It's on the way. I'm sure it just must be a clerical error somewhere.